Guys, I think it's time we talk about the very realistic possibility of the new ban list, what OPO 4.5 will look like. And I got a little bit of an inside scoop from the judges chat, but they're talking about banning Edward Newgate, the leader. They're talking about a restriction on Big Mom, and they're also talking about restriction on Dodon, but I don't think Dodon is actually the problem right now. You know, in this current meta, I think it's actually law. So let's talk about it, right? So if you guys ever watch or play basketball and you see Steph Curry, right? Like everyone always talks about the gravity he has on the court, right? The just like the fear they have the second he steps past the half court line, right? I feel the same way with Big Mom. You know, if I'm playing a slower deck, like if I'm playing Crocodile or Queen or Rebecca or, I mean, just like any slower deck, right? Like the second that they get past like 8 Dawn or like 7 or 8 Dawn when they're healthy, you know, obviously like a leader that can play Big Mom, I feel like I'm gonna lose the game because the second they drop Big Mom, it's a 2 life swing automatically. And then the answer for it is to go down to 0 life and just try to like wall off. But you know, that's not a strategy for every deck. The only strategy that can work for is Law or Whitebeard, really. So Linlin is just incredibly good. Now she is leader locked, of course. You know, you can only play her in the Big Mom decks, right? Like the Big Mom, Black Yellow Big Mom, and Katakuri. However, those are 2 of those are pretty good, and Katakuri is like one of the best decks in the game. I know Katakuri player. I'm a Katakuri player myself, and I know he's been incredibly, you know, oppressed by Whitebeard and Law, you know, over the last couple, and Zoro too, over the last like couple formats. But you know, in this format, guys, I think Linlin is incredibly like. I think Linlin just like runs rampant right now. I mean, it's bad, you know, like any deck that isn't Law or Newgate, it completely like runs it over, you know. Like obviously you can win some of these matchups. You can win with Crocodile, you can win with I'm trying to think what other decks are bad into Katakuri. You can win with I don't know, like Nami or something. I don't know, I can't think, my brain's not working right now. But I think it's just way too good, and I can definitely see it being put to like 1 or 2, maybe. I would say 1 though, because it is searchable, and just the life swing is just ridiculous. And the thing is, like even into blue decks, right? Like you can red rock the Linlin, but the damage is already done. Like it still is a 2 life swing. They got a life, and then you lost a life. You spend 6 on putting that card to the bottom of their deck, and then they drop another one, and now it's a 4 life swing, and you spent your entire turn getting rid of it pretty much. You have to hope you can establish a board, you know, before they start dropping Linlins, and hope you have multiple red rocks to deal with them on top of multiple blockers, because at that point you're probably at 0 life if they drop back to back Linlins. Even one Linlin, sometimes you're at 0 life. So that's Linlin. I could definitely see it going to 1. I'd probably prefer it going to 1, honestly. I'm sorry, Katakuri fans, Katakuri enjoyers, but this card's gotta see some restriction. And then we'll talk about Law real quick, and then we'll talk about Newgate after. So the judges chat, they're talking about banning or eliminating Dodon, but the thing is, so I considered Dodon, I considered Bonnie. But I don't think Bandai wants to hurt other decks in the process. I know they fired, you know, stray shots at Ace whenever they, you know, banned some of the, or restricted some of the Whitebeard cards. But there's no other way, right? But there is a way to deal with just Law, right? Because like pretty much no other deck plays Law except for Law. You know, like Kid back in like set 1 played it. I mean, you can play him in green decks, you know, right now. You can play him in like Kuro. But the main card, or the main deck that it's for, is its leader, Law. And the thing about Law is he provides so much value all the time, right? Like if you don't see this card, the deck like completely crumbles, right? And when you do see this card, I think the deck is like the best deck in the game by a mile, right? It can even beat Rebecca. It could beat Rebecca. It could beat Queen. It can beat like any deck. Like Law really doesn't have like a whole lot of bad matchups except for like high rolling decks that just slow you down, really. You know, like it's doable a lot of the time. And it's doable because, you know, they gain, you know, so much card advantage through recycling their cards. Like they can, you know, attack with one of their characters, you know, use Law's leader effect, pick it up, after they already search with it, of course, pick up another character with Law, and then, you know, play it down again, and then you just keep getting searches, and then the card that you picked up the next turn, you get another search, and then, you know, all these searches are, you know, you're trying to find missing puzzle pieces. You know, you play Nami, oh, I found a Rad Beam, a guard point. You know, you play Dadan, I found an Otama that I needed to survive. You play, you know, Bonnie, you find Restand Law, or, you know, Zoro, or Law, or Luffy, and you're just gaining so much advantage. And the thing is, the deck is so explosive too, so like you gain so much tempo so quickly that I think that Law, you know, to slow the deck down, I used to think errata-ing it, when making Law a three cost leader, to use his effect. I thought that would help, but I don't think that would help, actually, to be honest with you. Like, it would slow them down very slightly, but Law, the character, is a massive problem, and like we just gotta get rid of it, guys. Like we gotta put it at 1, or 2. 1 or 2 is really the only answer, because the value that this deck will just generate for the rest of time, to be honest with you guys, because I don't see in set 5 either that this deck goes away in Japan. I know we don't really like have the same meta, but this deck will like just always be relevant, just because the cards that it searches. And then we'll talk about Whitebeard. Guys, we tried, right? We tried banning Moby Dick. Didn't work. We tried limiting Newgate and Marco and Radbeam. It didn't work. And now Bandai is like, you know, drawing on the whiteboard right now, thinking about what cards to ban, what needs to go for this deck to just stop being relevant. And I think the conclusion is, I think the leader needs to go, right? Unless they errata it, right? I'm not talking about erratas, guys, because if we're talking about erratas, Law and Whitebeard would both be fixed right now. But if they're not doing erratas, it is time to ban the entire leader, the first banned leader in the game. And the reason I say this is because there is like no counter for Whitebeard. You have to draw very well just to even beat him, and you're a good matchup, right? Like I was playing Zoro at a regional, and I lost to 2 Whitebeards because I just wasn't drawing any of my guard points or 2Ks basically the entire game, you know? And like there's no other deck that can do that, right? There's like, if you play against Zoro, as long as you draw like some 1Ks, like it should be fine. If you play against Law, if you draw some 1Ks, it should be fine. Even removal, you know, like Fire Fist, Jet Pistol, like removal doesn't really work on Whitebeard, because like you remove the card and then they just play another card with Rush or another just beefy character, while also swinging for 6 or 7 every single turn. There's no card that is singly the problem. It's actually literally just Whitebeard, the leader, because 6k swings every single time that you attack him. You have to put a Dawn on your character to go to even meet the threshold. You know, all of your 6k leaders, all your 6k characters you have to put 2 Dawn on them to swing over the threshold, the 2k threshold, right? It feels like every card in your deck is 1k worse, and there's not like a card in the game that could stop that. Like you'd have to limit, like, I don't even know, like you can't limit Thatch, because Thatch is a 6/8 vanilla. You can't limit guard. I mean, I guess you could limit guard point, but like that would just like kill, right? I mean, that would just, I don't even know if that would kill the deck, honestly, because they just moved to like Happiness Punch or something like that, which is so stupid. They go Happiness Punch, and then they go like Red Hawk, and then they'd go like all these other, you know, 4 cost or events for red. So yeah, guys, I just don't think that there's anything left to ban except for the leader. But that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about. I know the video went a little longer than I anticipated, but I think these cards need to get hit and banned. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below if I'm just kind of tweaking out about this. I swear to God, I'm not on copium. I'm saying so. Linlin, I did lose to a Katakuri last night at locals, but it was a friend of mine, so I wasn't really too upset. So this isn't like me trying to get my vengeance, you know, for losing at locals. But yeah, Linlin just needs to go. Law just needs to go, and Newgate needs to go. So yeah, guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.